This isn't just another podcast. We're crushing the taboos and we're rewriting the rules. It's the space where we normalize women becoming wealthy. If you're done playing small and ready to become the CEO of your life and the architect of your future, then my girl, you're in the right room. Welcome to your wealthy era. Welcome to the Wellthy CEO podcast.
Today's conversation is rewriting the rules of how you get seen, hired, and paid, because the game has drastically changed and most women still have no idea why. My guest today, Monique Bryan, is the brand authority strategist, Fortune 500 brands, and over 500 founders have trusted her to build the AI era systems, deciding whose name gets recommended in the search engines. If you've ever felt like the best kept secret in your industry, this episode is the wake up call you need, because authority isn't built randomly, it's designed. Joining me live in studio today on the Wellthy CEO podcast is my girl, Monique Bryan. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is fantastic.
This is going to be a great conversation. Like I said to you before, I'm like, obviously through the interview, feeling like I'm getting to know you more through the process, because we're like new friends. We're like newbie friends since March.
Yeah, but we dove really deep really fast.
Right?
I felt like we needed to.
Yeah. And then I became a client of yours. I want to say by accident, but there are no accidents. It was very like orchestrated from above.
Agreed.
But at the time of having our call, that was not the intention, was sales pitch, need, meeting, solution, I can do this. And then we ended up doing like a sprint.
Yeah.
I had 10 days to make magic happen. And by magic happen, I meant you making magic happen.
As you bounce your baby on your hip.
Right? Yeah, as my balance baby on my hip. And I think, I'm very, very, very A-type, very control, like plan step by step. I think one of the easiest things for me with you was I was actually able to let go of control because you were so organized, over communicative, and A-type. And when I said to you, very simply in an email, the fastest way to reach me is on WhatsApp. Like if you need me to review something, because we're in this sprint, right? Like you're telling me we have serious deadlines and I need you to move quick. So I'm like, okay, this is how I move quick. And literally I felt like within 38 seconds of sending that email, you had sent me a WhatsApp. I was like, ooh, she's going to be my girl. I like her. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I like her. So I'm really excited to chat with you today because I feel like I'm getting to know you. I've experienced you from the business side. You have a very spicy perspective on building female brands and brand authority and learning how to own your voice. And everything you do is infused with AI, which is probably the most trending hashtag of life.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of people, it's extremely overwhelming. Like I actually said on my Instagram today, coming here, telling everybody that you're coming on the podcast. So like, stay tuned. She's coming. Now she's here. And I'm like, I don't know about you. Every time I open my phone, it's like Claude just keeps throwing up everywhere on Instagram, on YouTube, right?
I know, because I'm learning it all as well. Like I put a spot on my calendar every single morning while I'm at the gym to learn it, like to review and learn one thing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just like every
And you're
day.
having Claude do that for you, right?
No,
you're like giving me the review.
No,
Oh,
that's another thing. That's two things.
Right? Yeah.
No, but I'm physically watching like YouTube every morning while I'm on the treadmill or the elliptical, and I watch at least one full video.
Yeah.
Because I have serious ADHD. I'm like, if you can't keep me in this, I'm not going to be watching. But there are some specific people that I'm like, wow, you guys are like Claude power users, and they just give it all. And I'm just like, wow. Like you think you're using it, and then you hear how someone else is using it, and you're like, I'm just scraping the tip of the iceberg with this right now.
Yeah. I don't know about you. I mean, this is like way more your business than it is mine. Like it's part of your ecosystem of what you do. I think for those who do not learn how to adopt it on a weekly basis, because this is like where it's going. Like I love that you have it like in your discipline of your routine to learn something new every single day, because the pace in which it's going, it's scary that after a month of like, if you were to not look at the internet and you were not to look at like what AI is doing, how much it's going to change within 30 days. And so and also too, there's also like this like balance I think that you need to have, because you can't live in this constant like overwhelm.
Oh my God,
of like,
no.
I'm behind. Because I feel like that so many times where it's like, I'm watching a YouTube video too, and then I'm like, 2 days later, it's like, well, that's obsolete. That's no longer what's happening. Claude just like blew up the internet again,
oh my
right?
gosh. Yeah, like when I first dove into AI about, what was it, 2 years ago, and I just had like this feeling in my body that was just like, wait, this is going to be like when I miss TikTok. Like I just love video, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to learn another tool. It's not going to be a big deal. Yeah. And then it blew up, and I was like, and COVID happened, and I was like, oh my, I would probably have 1 million. I swear I'd have 1 million followers if I took it on. But I just decided, I was like, no, I can't do it. And now with Instagram, it's doing its own friggin' thing. So I said, when this happened and I started experimenting with it, I was like, wait, this is moving at my speed. Like I move fast. Right. People say like, I don't have a speed limit. I don't have speed bumps. They called me Speedy in my house. That's my nickname, / Bam Bam, both. Because I go and I break things. But I was like, if it can move this fast and iterate this fast, I was like, what's possible in terms of what I could build? And that's when I started listening to a lot of podcasts about what was going on. And I was just like, what's happening? Like, I was like, I want to know, like, on the biggest scale, what's happening? What does this mean? And as people started talking about, like, it's going to replace this and it's going to replace that, my first instinct was like, well, what is it going to replace in my world? Because we all need to grow our skill sets in one shape, one form or the other. And I'm always thinking like, well, where could I be better? So one of the first questions I asked it was like, how do I future-proof my career? And that's when I was like, okay, it starts telling me, well, here's where your strengths are. And I'm like, well, you're a predictability machine. Where's personal branding going? Where's branding going? And I thought I was going to be an AI teacher. I was like, I know so much about it. And all my clients were like, oh my God, you know so much about it. But like you said, after the first like 3 sold out workshops, the next week it would change. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to, and I was like, I can't keep, this is not, this is not sustainable. No. And I also didn't love that I had to come and tell you the next new tool. Like, I didn't consider myself a tech person. Right. I don't want to have to explain every little thing to you. I am learning it, but I want to learn it and know it, not be somebody on the internet who's just like, well, I'm now the new AI person you come to because everybody's the new AI person you come to. I'm like, that's going to be a very crowded space. Yeah. And I'm always like, how do I separate myself? So it took a while. I would say it took like a good 7 months being in like a deep cave. You know, my sales went down. Like, I just wasn't marketing the same way. Like, I was just like changing my LinkedIn profile every 5 minutes. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, Monique, like, what's happening? And it got to a point where I was just outsourcing all my thinking to AI. Like, I was like, well, this is faster. Like, I don't have to think about how to write a WhatsApp message to my mom when she's like, you know, being extra special that day. Yeah. And I'm like, well, it can just write that for me. And I was like, so everything I was outsourcing to the point that I was like, well, it's smarter than me. Yeah. So why would I think that I have anything to offer? Like, it was really like, when you're an entrepreneur by yourself, you get like these mind fucks. Like, you're like, totally, what? It's smarter than me. Why would I try and write my own email? That's dumb. Yeah. And then eventually, like, I just started reading what I was writing, and it was such trash. I was like, what the? I was like, nobody would open this email. This soul had gone out of the writing of everything. And I was like, well, I had to go back to be like, what am I actually passionate about? Is it about AI necessarily, or what AI can make available to me? Right. And I had, a series of contractors. I had a series of VAs, and it was always, it just didn't work out. It just was, I don't know if I'm just a bad manager, people, or what the case is. Not so much my contractors, but VAs would just not stay. And they were just like, you got so much going on all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's entrepreneurship. Sure, yeah. And then when I was able to turn my AI into my VA and how fast it moved and how accurate it moved, that's when I really got like, oh, this is going to be the most ultimate aligned tool, think partner, outsourcer, contractor, and I have to be in the driver's seat. It's only as good as what I direct it to be, because it'll always tell me it's chef's kiss. It'll always tell me my ideas are the greatest. And that's a bit ridiculous. And that's when I was like, okay, what could I create? And because I was using it so religiously, it learned a lot about me. And then it knew how to make suggestions to me. So I was like, I've got this really cool idea for a stylist app. What would that look like? But here are my goals. How does it align with my time constraints, with my ADHD, with me needing to finish work at 5 to go pick up my little guy? So it would recommend things as it pertains to my life. And I really love that, because I could build 9 million things, but it'll stop me. Right. It'll be like, oh, yeah, that's a really great idea for Q4 of next year.
Right.
Like, what's the goal? Has the goal changed? Because last time I checked, Monique, your goal was blank, blank, blank. I was like, okay, calm down. It's a little fresh sometimes. And that's when I was just like, oh, it's just such a, there's just a lot of judgment when you speak to other individuals, sometimes around your ideas and what you're doing. And some people saying you're doing too much, or that doesn't make sense, or even your therapist. Sometimes I'm just like, is she judging me?
Yeah.
But AI was that like blank slate.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I really loved about it. And that it was available 24/7.
Totally.
And that can be, listen, if you don't have self-awareness, if you have like serious mental wellness issues, it can be a problem.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm happy it didn't exist at certain times in my life.
Yeah.
But being able to figure things out and have like this objective, quote unquote, person to lean on for that was a game changer.
So let me ask you this. Like, when somebody is asking ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, who they should hire, okay? Most women don't even know that they're being filtered through like that conversation. Walk us through, what does that look like? I'm going to say it's like, what is, and you just kind of alluded slightly, I think a little bit, but what is the recommendation economy? And what does a founder need to do today to be the name being recommended instead of the one being skipped over entirely?
I love that whole conversation, because we are in this, SEO was the last 15 years, and now AEO, answer engine optimization, is where we're at, where people are using all the LLMs, all the chats as like Google, right? Because why would you go over to a different tab when you're already in chat most of the time and it already knows you and it gives you like a curated answer? So this was something that I dove really into over the last 6 months, because what I found is I was putting in the who I am and it was giving me back the who I was. And I was like, that's really interesting. And then somebody came to a discovery call one day and was like, I thought she found me on Instagram. And she was like, I don't know you, girl. She was like, I found you on Chat. And I was like, say more about that. And she's like, yeah, I asked Chat everything. And I was like, who do I get to fix my brand? I wanted a woman of color. 4 people came up. Only 2 were of color. And here we are. And she became one of my highest paying clients. She's a good friend now. I love her. She's just awesome. But it was really just, she came to the conversation already half sold.
Right.
She was ready.
Right.
And I was like, that is the holy grail of sales, right? Yeah. Like, somebody's already ready to go. And I was like, so that's when I dove in and tried to discover what would make it possible for that to be my number one lead engine. And what I found out is that the AI machines are evaluating you through a different lens than an SEO machine, right? And so things like, how clear are you across every single platform? And I put in my name and they were like, you ain't. And I was like, no, I know AI. I am. They're like, no, your website says one thing, your LinkedIn says another, and your Instagram says something completely different. And in my mind, as a marketer, it made sense that they were a little bit different because they were different audiences.
Right.
But to AI, clarity is their number one game, because they want to be as helpful to the individual using it as possible. So if you're not clear and you're showing 5 versions of you online,
right,
it has to skip you because you're going to make it look bad.
Right.
Right? And the scary part is you'll never know you're being skipped. You'll never even, it's different. Like if you go to your website and someone doesn't, click on a certain link, or you find out they spent 5 seconds on the first page, right. You have that analytics in the back. But with this, you have nothing. And you have zero idea why leads just aren't coming in the door, or the wrong person is coming in the door. Another piece is AI wants to be super smart and recommend unique ideas. Right. Because what it's doing is it's just taking the average of every input that it has from all the different people and giving you the best possible answer. And it sounds right enough, but it's not a unique perspective a lot of the times. It could be anybody. So one of the ways to get around that is to be writing like some contrarian pieces that really show the depth of your thinking online. So LinkedIn articles, blog posts, it pulls from all of that. So something that's happening in your industry that you may have a contrarian opinion of, that'll flag for AI because it loves long form content. It cannot take depth and point of view from 90-second clips in Reels. It's not going to happen.
From Twitter, from X.
From X, from Twitter, from Instagram. It's like it can't read your Reels. Right. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
It's like, I want depth. I want to be as smart as possible. I'm the AI tool. Give me some meat. And then it also looks at like your associations. So is your name coming up in the circles of people that are credible, right? So it's scanning, your LinkedIn, like, are you mentioned with other people, podcast interviews? Like, it really wants to make sure they're not just coming out of left field with, are you on the same level of the other types of quote unquote like coaches?
Right.
Who's talking about you? Do you have any earned media? Like, where are you mentioned in media, in articles? So it looks at all of those pieces as well. And it's really trying, like, this was just such an eye-opener for me because I knew what SEO was. I did a little bit of it for my stuff, but I was like, oh, I don't care. Like, I was just like, more tech, more stuff in the back end. But this like blew my mind because I was also using it to discover who should I hire. Right. And it was giving me back these names of people. And then I was listening to a podcast, and somebody, a really well-known marketer was talking about it. And that was the first time I had heard about AEO. And he was like, yeah, I put because I have 9 years worth of podcasting, blogs, content out there. I have an AI bot that's just like me out here. It's like, it's telling the world I am the best in my field, and I am definitely not the best. Like, I've been around, but there are people who are the pioneers of my industry. Right. He's like, but AI doesn't care. Right. And like a light bulb went off. I'm like, oh, this is a huge opportunity for small business. Like, this is the time. Like, get the content, the right types of content out there, and secure your spot for the next, like in that next 12 to 24 months before other people catch on.
So I have 2 questions to that. I mean, there's so much that you just said that's like gold. Like, press pause, rewind, go back 2 minutes, re-listen to it again. Because the opportunity you just said is there, and to like not miss it, right? My 2 questions I have for you is, what are your top platforms that you have to be using? And a follow-up to that, just as you're answering, is Gary Vee is of the mindset of like, you need to be everywhere, like go everywhere. And when I hear that, I'm like, I would be everywhere if I had Gary Vee money and I had like a team of 400 people just doing my social media, because he employs, I don't know how many, but if I had to guess, probably over like 5,000 people.
He puts out over 400 pieces of content a day.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So like literally he definitely has more than 400 people on just the social media. So like when I hear him say that, and he's like, stop fucking overthinking about it. Fuck this and fuck blah, blah, blah. Like, sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this
Gary,
episode.
But it's like, everyone has to, you have to like take some of it with it. I've been following Gary a long time, and I get what he's saying, but he also says some other things. He always says like, don't watch what I say, watch what I do, right? If you don't have a team, you can't put out well, you know what? This is a tough one, because if this was a year ago, I would say, or maybe a year and a half ago, I would say you actually can't put out that much content. But today you actually could.
Right.
Because of what is possible with building the right system with AI.
Right.
Which is what I'm currently building right now.
Right.
So there are quite a few, I don't even know if say quite a few, but there's been enough people that I've discovered who have built a system where it can push out 200 pieces of content a day for you as a one-man show. So this is where we talk about leverage, right?
You're going to build me that system too, right?
100%. Like
y'all heard it.
This is
y'all heard it.
This is like going to be the huge game changer for like the people in my world, because it's one thing to be like, I have this tool that can make you hundreds of ideas. We're like, we don't need more ideas. I have this tool that can write the content. We don't need more captions. We know how to do that. That's an easy one. But can it put your business goals in the forefront, your voice, the platforms, the content, and the visuals? This is where people get blocked.
Totally.
The visuals.
100%.
And put that in a package and now push it out.
Yeah.
That's the big one, right? Because that would change the game. And this is what we're seeing online right now. Like if you open your phone and you're like, oh my God, it's just like AI this, and this person has so much content, and how are they here all the time? It's like they have a machine built for it, 100%. And that's why I think social is going to change just so much in the next year, because people are going to get tired of it. This is why if right now your content is not performing on Instagram, it's because people are looking at Instagram for relief. So if you're talking about business, most likely they're like, swipe, scroll, pass, because you see all these like micro dramas and stuff that are happening. Like people are doing like real entertainment. Yeah. It's like TikTok now, right? True. That's what we want to see. We want like a break. Yeah. So if that's the case, like I'm like, you've got to go to, and I'll answer your question about platforms, but if you're like on, whether it's Instagram, specifically Instagram, it's like either go like the entertainment route. Yeah. And I don't mean like you're dancing and whatnot. I mean like pick something that would make people feel something. And if you're selling something, it's like, just think about how you might incorporate that, but really think about how you're going to make people stop, pattern interrupt, or feel something. And then on the other side, just be 100%, it's try not to make it over polished. The over polished stuff, and I've been doing this experiment actually over the last month, the over polished stuff gets like no love. The makeshift, just created this in the story, downloaded it to my phone and posted it, is getting all the love. It's insane. People are just like the over polished. They 100% think it's AI. They don't even bother with it unless it's entertaining. Right? So that's the Instagram conversation, and being able to push out at scale. So maybe not Gary V scale, because the other thing about Gary, which I heard in one of his recent talks, is he has over 81 different handles.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
I'm like, okay, Gary, we get it. But also, like you said, he's like, I have teams of people who just sit and figure out how does this go viral? Like this is what they do. Yeah. But he's also very vocal about, how we're in the age of interest media. It's not social media anymore. So each piece of content has the opportunity to go viral. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, which I love as well. But that means the piece of content has to be good. Yeah. Or at least of value. And then in terms of tools, and depending on when this comes out, listen, if you had asked me in the beginning, I would have said chat. And now, with everything that's gone down, everybody's moved from chat to Claude for all the different reasons, but specifically because Claude has so many more capabilities than chat does currently. But they just got a big influx of cash, so who knows? Yeah. Claude is my number one tool. Yeah. Because it is actively doing things on my behalf. Mm-hmm. And that is like literally this morning, I'm doing my hair in the bathroom, my laptop's on one side, and it's building my new website. Yeah. With me just going, yes, click. No, don't like that. Yeah. This is some bullshit. Who used these photos? Click. And it's like, alert comes up. Claude is now taking over your computer. And it's doing stuff. I'm like, as I'm doing my ringlets in my hair, I'm like, this has never happened. Yeah. So Claude is my number one. My second tool that I love is Lovable. because I'm such a visual person and I like to be able to build things, take my ideas and actually see them in real time.
Yeah.
So Lovable builds workable apps. It can build landing pages. I actually found another tool that builds landing pages. You don't actually need that anymore. So again, changes.
Yeah. Is that Replit?
No, it's called, is it Netify?
Okay.
It's a very interesting one because I was like, I was sitting there the other day and I was like, I don't have time to rebuild an entire Squarespace site. Okay.
Right.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
Claude.
Yeah.
And Claude's like, no, Monique. And it loves to give me timelines now. Well, this will take you 2 to 3 weeks and it will cost you such and such. I'm like, I don't need all that. First of all, it never takes as much time as Claude says. I don't know why it's saying these things to me. But anyways.
Netlify.
Yes. So what's interesting about that is Claude will go and build whatever it is you want. Visually, you can see it, HTML file. You drop it into Netify, and it's live on the web.
Oh, cool.
Like clickable. Now, if we go back to AEO and being found, I wouldn't say that that's the best tool if you're building like a full website, for like discoverability.
Sure.
But in terms of getting like MVP out there, like I had to do like a intake form for somebody. And I was like, oh, I could go into my Dubsado and change the thing and update the picture. It literally created it in like under 3 minutes.
Yeah.
On brand. Drop it in to Netify. It's live.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to worry. So being able to just move quickly and experiment, I thought that was super key. And Lovable just builds like beautiful things.
They do, yeah.
That if you have the creative language, it can execute well. And I think that that's where a little bit of the miss is when people say, well, AI can do it. Like, why would I hire you to do this? AI can do it. And it's just like, somebody being able to fish and somebody being able to know where to fish, clean the fish, make the fish into a gourmet meal, serve it to your table and tell you where the fish came from.
Yeah.
Like we all have our area of expertise and lived experience that AI does not have.
Totally.
Right? And it will always tell you you're great. And it will always tell you something in a way that makes it sound like it's the best possible idea. But I guarantee if you push back, it'll be like, oh, that's a great catch. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. I know I've argued with ChatGPT and then we broke up and I, like you, I'm now over at Claude. But you know what I actually use ChatGPT a lot for is like my on the go
me too.
search engine. Like as opposed to Google, I will like put it into chat. The other thing that I've done that I found personally that works really well is, as you know, AI is only as good as your ability to prompt it. And give it context, give it proper instruction, like describing the skill set, like what you need. And I'm okay at that, but I'm not AI, efficient to be able to do that. So I've actually used ChatGPT to say, this is the outline, this is the prompt, this is whatever, and I need you to make this so much more thorough. Ask me the questions before writing it. If you have any questions, how this could be better. Score everything. Score it. Like I'm like really big on the whole score thing. And telling it, I am cheating on you. This is for Claude. So write the prompt so I can go into Claude. And the stuff that like it spits out, it's seriously mind blowing. Like I've turned to my partner so many times. I'm like, you see, I'm like, I wouldn't even known half of that stuff to like ask or to think to like put in, so that's kind of how I've used.
That's very smart.
Both of them.
Yeah. I use chat still. I still use chat.
Yeah,
chat is my other friend.
Yeah.
Like Claude I find Claude to be really smart at execution. It's more of like the strategist, but like I use chat for like the creative.
Yeah.
I find it is more, there's a creative piece in conversation, like thought partnership that's different than Claude.
Yeah.
For sure. Claude loves to shut shit down.
Yeah.
Chat's like, let's just dream the biggest possible dream,
Right.
even if it's never going to happen. And sometimes you need that,
Yeah.
right? Because you can always whittle something down, but it's very difficult to go from something that's just kind of a good idea to a bigger idea.
Totally.
Right? And the other thing that chat's gotten really great at, is imagery.
Right.
Like in the
A lot
last few
better.
weeks,
Yeah.
it is bananas how much better it got, like
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
So the two are in this fast race battle.
Yeah.
And on one hand, like as a business owner and somebody who wants to build things with it, I'm really happy. There's also a side of me that is very nervous. There's no guardrails. There is no, should we be doing this? So this is something that will come to a head.
Yeah.
For sure. And my goal is to basically capitalize on it until that happens.
So you've given us a few of the top picks of like AI platforms. When you think about showing up in the AI search engine, when you're going on Chat or on Claude to say, recommend me, this is what I'm looking for. What are the social media platforms that you would say are like the non-negotiable? I think obviously LinkedIn is one of them because you've brought it up a few times. But are there other, and this is where I'm like, yeah, Gary Vee is like, be on all 2,000
He's like
of them.
on every single one all the time.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my God, Gary, I can't do that. So like, what would be your top, I don't know, whatever you think. If it's more than 4, then give me the more than 4.
But here's the thing. So this is going to go back to like, now I'm going to go back to like how I think about social, period, right? So we can't be on every single platform as, a small business owner unless you've got team. So that's one. 2, I still think regardless of AEO and what people are asking, you still have to think about your business. What's the business reason for being in these places? Because you can show up with crap on any of those places if you're not like strategically thinking about how does this flow into my leads or my connections or whatever it is I'm trying to build. So I don't have it that you need to be on every platform for discoverability. I have it that whichever platform you're on, you're intentionally putting good content on there.
Yeah.
That's what I think is more important because people are very sensitive to the AI slop right now. So they know. So if even the people who I follow who are creating these content engines, every one of them so far has said like they have an AI, they have a human like stop in the middle of it to look. Nothing just goes out automatic.
Yeah.
It's like, let me look. Is this in my voice? Does this sound like AI? Do I still believe this? Like, I think that piece is so underrated and people think, well, the more content you put out, yeah, it's like being discovered without having, and this is the piece that like I teach my clients and it's very important to like my frameworks is like, you can be found, but if you're not trusted and found, you are, who cares, right? So you've got to be able to back that up because being seen isn't enough.
Right.
Being trusted is the name of the game, right? Someone can see you 15 times and think it's bullshit, or they could see you one time and be like, I freaking love this person. They were recommended to me. I heard about their name here. I can look them up and it's credible. Everything is aligned. Like we still have the human bullshit detector going on 24/7.
Right.
So I think that's more important than anything else. Because no matter which platform you're on for discoverability, it's the consistency, right? Are you just dipping in once every few whenever? Like if I start putting stuff on X, which I never do, and I never come back to it, like it's not going to matter about discoverability. Right? I think long form content on Substack is really like where we're at. Like a lot of people, they got a big influx of cash as well. We're seeing it evolve.
You think that that's really necessary?
It's a big piece right now.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an author, if you're looking to get a book, it's being able to show pieces of your writing is really key. And then it's also has this really awesome like built-in discoverability tool where it's like, well, if you like this type of thing, you're going to love this type of article. So introducing you to other people is very interesting. Where it goes in terms of like, them putting ads in and stuff hasn't happened yet, but doesn't mean it won't.
Yeah.
So before it happens, it's a good place to get in. And people are making crazy money over there.
Yeah.
With it. And I don't even say like you have to do like paid like subscriptions, but I have a client who was the one who actually got me onto Substack where she's like, I don't do any paid subscriptions. I just use that as my main newsletter. I sell what I sell in the newsletter to my people. They come and they buy it every month and we move on. She's like, that's it. Those are my people. But they are diehard, right? And I was like, it's better to have the diehard people
totally
than a million people who don't do jack.
Totally. Well, and one of the things I wanted to ask you, so this kind of like leads into it almost in a reverse way, is there's so many brands out there that inspire you, right? They have the numbers, they have the audience, they have the people. And I don't know if it's a lack of authority or trust, but people show up for inspiration, but they're not looking to buy anything from you. Mm-hmm. What disconnect do you think that is?
I mean, they're just not ready to buy. I mean, there could be a lot of things there, right? I've had people in my community who have never bought anything, and they've been there since the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I never fully understood it, but I look at, people tell me, like, the way I buy is not the way most people buy. Like, I'm very much like, okay, let's go. Right. I'm convinced, let's go.
Right.
And most people need 9,000 touch points, need to be in the right place in their life. They also want to make sure it's going to, like, what am I going to do with what she now gave me? Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't execute on it. Like, there's so many reasons. And I was told by a coach once to just, like, let those people be your cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be the look you lose, right? But they're also sometimes the people who will talk you up in a room.
Right.
So they may never, either they can't, maybe they're not in a financial position, or they just don't know what to do with what you would give them.
Yeah.
I've had someone say, I don't want to disappoint you.
Aw.
Right? Like, I mean, that's great, because also, I mean, if anyone knows me, like, I'm going to be on you. Like, you didn't just show up here to have a sometime-ish get it done, right? So let those people talk about you in other rooms, and don't worry about those who don't buy, because some people may take a year, 2 years. I've had people on a call be like, I've been following you for years. Mm-hmm. It wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. And now I am. Mm-hmm. So you just never know. Yeah, that's why it's so important to just stay true to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And don't let the numbers, the views, like, dictate how you do your business. Mm-hmm. Remember how good you are. Remember what you do. Because it's so easy to forget when everyone's like, oh, I can't. Nobody's watching my lives. No one's clicking on the thing. It only takes one person to see it, to be like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. You're the person for me.
Right. So, I mean, that reminder, I think, would be like, owning your authority, and that your authority is your asset.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love talking about turning income into assets, and obviously income leading into impact. And I think you've said that too, right? Like, the only marketing asset that compounds is your authority.
Yeah.
So when you think of, I'm going to actually go back to, like, the woman who's inspiring, but she's not converting. Do you think there's a disconnect of, like, maybe not owning your authority, or, like, you're not able to convert your audience?
Well, I'm always so interested in the inspiration, right? Like, what are we, as far as I'm concerned, if you're on social, it's for business.
Right.
Like, all the other stuff we put on there, fine, great, show you're a human. That's important. People need to know it's not just sell. But inspiration is great, but it doesn't actually, I don't know if is that a sales strategy? Right? At the end of the day, it's a business, right? So I would be curious to know, like, how often are you putting an opportunity out there for people to buy, or even just engage with you? Right. Because sometimes it's not so much like, oh, I've got this really cool thing and this can help you buy it. It's, are you showing testimonials of people who've done it? Like, are you showing that you are in rooms with other people that other people be like, oh, wow, I didn't even know you were associated. Like, people underestimate that piece.
Right.
I know I'm big on, like, if people that I follow are in rooms with people who I'd kill to be next to, I'm like, whoa. Where's my invitation? How did she get there?
Right.
So, like, what else are you doing that would have people be like, I want to have what I can see myself getting, what that other client got from working with you. And then I'm like, is social media your only strategy? Because it's not a strategy.
Right.
It's an amplifier.
Yeah.
But you have to have other ways, especially today, especially, like, right now, the in-person piece is, like, a non-negotiable. Like, you fast track a relationship like 10 times by just someone meeting. Like, if you and I had just met online, we'd be okay, but it would be a different relationship in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think people are relying too heavily to living behind their screen. We are not in that time right now. People are tired, like, are craving connection. It's like, I think I had read, like, loneliness is at the ultimate high it's ever been.
Yeah.
All the girl bands and stuff are back. So it's like, it's not girl boss, but it's like women are searching for their people and their squads. So that is how I would, if I was going to be like, where are you going to start? You need to start with getting into a community. That's where I wouldn't worry about AI. I wouldn't even worry about social. It's like, who would trust you now that you're part of their group? You want to be their go-to in that group. AI can't do that for you.
Yeah.
Hey friend, if this conversation is speaking to you, please do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It's how we grow the show, reach more women, and build a future where Wellthy is female. This isn't just content. This is an invitation to a new society for women. Let's rise and build it together.
If you're only relying on, let's just say, Instagram.
Boo.
Yeah. Well, because you said it, and it made me think that, like, you know, you've worked with over like 500 female founders and women in business. And so I'm sure you've seen a lot of this. Like, what would you say is a marketing operating system?
Well, so the foundation of a marketing operating system is like, first you need the architecture of the who you are. Like, that goes across the board, whether you're using AI as the system or going into an agency. Like, you've got to know who you are, who you're trying to reach, what you actually stand for. What would you say? What would you never say? Like, you've got to have like the brand basics down of the who you are. You need to be rooted in it before you can build out a marketing strategy. The system is only as good as the brand foundation, period. Right. The system just amplifies what's already there. Right. So if you got a bunch of crap, that's what it amplifies. If you have chaos, that's what it amplifies. If you've got your micromanaging and nobody on your team knows how to do anything ever, it amplifies that. But if you have a system in place that's got, this is how we deal in strategy, this is how we show up on Insta, this is how we do our newsletter, this is where all of our SOPs live, this is where, like, this becomes like somebody walks into your business and they're like, you know, it's like the difference between walking into like a Walmart and walking into like Louis Vuitton. Right? Everything's where it's supposed to be. Yep. Everyone's always there to help you. Yep. You never have to lift a finger. Would you like some champagne? I was like, oh my God, of course I want to buy one of these bags. Yeah. Right? In Walmart, it's like you can't find anybody anywhere to help you do jack.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, can somebody get the baby formula? This was like a year ago. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't have the key. I think Marcy has the key. Yeah. This is like a real life situation. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, right? You get what you pay for. So it's the same thing with a marketing system. It's like, so one of the things I always start with, like, we start with the foundation. Without that, we can't actually build anything. And I was just in this conversation in this build I was doing for a company who has, you know, they're raising millions, but they're a very small team, right? They're about 11 people and they have one person in their marketing department. And she doesn't know any, like, it's like a chemical, like, laboratory type of business.
Okay.
And she's like, I don't know anything about the chemical stuff that they do. I'm a 30-year marketer. I know how to do marketing. And they're like, well, we don't know what all the marketing is. She takes care of that. But she's like, I'm one person. I know what I want to do. But there's like, I have to get approval by certain people sometimes. And that's what pushes everything back.
Sure.
Right? So it's like, we had a conversation about building a marketing system. But when we dove deep, it's like, yes, she needs a system. But if she has all of these roadblocks every time she tries to execute on something, the system will break. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So we installed in the system when she needs to get, when she sent out approval to the CEO, if it's past 2 days, it turns red. So she can see every morning she comes on, what's in the pipeline, what's going out, where do we stand? Oh, with the CEO, there's 3. Oh, it's been 5 days. Now he can't say, well, you just gave it to me.
Right.
She's like, you want this out? Do you see? Yeah. Look at our dashboard. Yeah. Look at our dashboard.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, that's just going to be such a game changer because she's like, they're busy. I get it. But I'm trying to put our message out there so everyone buys what we have.
Yeah.
So little things like that can just change the whole dynamic of how you get your marketing out.
I think, too, like what you just said is really key because if you are wanting to really use AI properly in your business, the theme that even for my own self, like what I'm learning in like creating, not just using Claude to do a skill that's repetitive over and over again or eliminate tasks or like summarize my emails and like go in, like all of that kind of VA stuff, like that's cool and great. but you want to be able to walk away from your computer for an entire day and things are operating and still moving because you've built a brain for Claude and you've built the skills and the tasks and they're scheduled. But you nailed it on the head that if you don't have all of the data centralized or formulated or methodically written out around like your brand voice or your operations, there's no brain. Like the brain, there can be a brain, but it's like clueless is really what happens, right? And so this is a really interesting exercise right now for everybody. Like you mentioned, like 2 years ago, you missed out on TikTok. You weren't going to miss out on AI, and you got on that. I feel like right now people have this like slate of being at ground zero to analyze their businesses and see across the different departments, like who's not speaking to each other. And like in your brain is communicating with everything. It's not just like one department over here and it doesn't know what the other department is doing, right? It's a cohesive mechanism. And so plugging in all of that data, centralizing it into the brain inside Claude is so important for it to actually be able to function properly.
No, I love how you put that. And I learned about my business and where I'm breaking it from the building. Because I didn't even realize, someone said to me, a really great client that I had for years, probably 6 or 7 years, she's been a client. And she's like, my brain doesn't think about marketing the way you do. Totally. And I was just like, I don't know what you're saying. She's like, I don't automatically go to where you go when you suggest something to me. Yeah. She's like, you need to document that. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's just basic to me, right? And she's like, exactly. But that's what we all have as business. Like what we take for granted is, and how we do things, average people don't do it that way because that's not where their focus is, or they just don't have that experience. Yeah. So when I started building my very first marketing operating system, that's when I learned how my brain works. Like you were talking about all those pieces talking to each other. Right. It took forever because I was like, no, you can't just have a marketing strategist. It's like, okay, well, who's downloading that over to the content director? Right. Well, the content director is not writing the captions. That's a lower level position where they're really good at that. But then who's writing the news? Like, it was just like, oh, but what about the revenue levers? Like, how does this go into what the actual game plan is? Well, is it for this quarter or is it for next? Like all the pieces, it took so long to just be like, how do all of these pieces work inside of my brain? This is how the marketing department would work if they sat in a room with me. Right. So if you the best way to learn AI is actually try to build something. Yeah. You'll learn real quick how you do the thing. And that's why I'm so passionate about like people taking their intellectual property and making it into a product that you can sell. Yeah. Because that's where you learn like where your golden gifts are. You're like, whoa. You're like, I'm super smart. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, we didn't even talk about this. I was going to maybe bring this up at the beginning, but you have such a powerful life-altering situation that happened to you. Wait, you were like 30?
I was 36.
And I'll let you share a bit about that. But I'm like not that I want to wrap up, but like I would keep you here because there's so much goodness. I'm like, we could like go Joe Rogan. There's so much stuff.
Bring out the hors d'oeuvres.
But a thing that's like part of your mission right now is to make sure that no woman is waiting anymore for that perfect moment and really like betting on themselves, right? Because tomorrow's not promised to us. No. And there's also a cost in waiting, right? Share with us maybe a little bit of what changed how you operate, your mindset, your perspective, and why it's so important for you right now in your business to help women realize like, you just need to start now. There isn't going to be a perfect moment, and don't wait.
So when I'm 9 years in remission from breast cancer, I was diagnosed when I was 36, and it rocked me because I was doing everything right, quote unquote, at that time. Like no smoking, no drinking, no gluten, gym 5 a.m., telling everyone else what to do with themselves. You should drink this, you should eat that, you know? And I would even go, when I would go for treatment, I'd have nurses open my file and be like, what? That's impossible. You're too young to have cancer. And I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
Yet here we are. And at that time, I had actually just hit my 3-month mark at a 9 to 5 because I had been running a startup. We were making money, losing money. And then I was just like, I'm tired of losing money. I just need a break. And I was about to get married. And so I went to get this job. I fudged my resume so I could get hired because I was so overqualified. I was like an executive assistant at a fashion house.
Okay.
And I was like, they learned very quickly I knew more than I was letting on. It was quite a chaotic place, but I was like, oh, it's fine, whatever. I'm making money every week and I get to go pay for my wedding, you know? And as like the place I was working actually became very toxic, but I had worked in a 9 to 5 in a very long time. So I didn't actually know I was in a toxic environment until I later spoke to, you know, some legal counsel. And they were like, yeah, that's a problem. But it didn't matter because I was diagnosed while I was there. And I actually got a promotion at that job like a week before I was diagnosed.
Wow.
And I was like, man, God's funny. He's a funny character there. And I was like, well, you know, it's fine. I'll go and have treatment and I'll come back to this job, right?
Because of course, naturally,
obviously. And as I was, you know, in treatment, you know, dealing with myself in a way where you know, I come from a fashion background, my hair, my nails, my face, my eyebrows, my aesthetics is part of my armor. It is part of what makes me me. It makes me happy. Like if I'm not happy and I put on a great outfit, I'm happy. Yeah. Like this is just a part of my identity that I was not ready to have stripped from me. So when it was no eyebrows, no eyelashes, no hair, like nails turned black, like I didn't know who I was. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, well, if there's no armor, this is you. This is 100% you. So who the fuck cares? And the filter came off. And that's when I was actually using Instagram as my like vent space. And just I'd be like, you know what happened today, guys? First of all, I can't even keep the snot in my nose because I have no nose hair. That's why I'm laying on the ground. Like, it was just like, it just became this like online show. It was just hilarious. But it gave me a place to vent, meet other women who were like, you know, I'm not ready to share my story, but thank you so much for like, you know, taking this on this journey. Or I'd have people be like, you know, my mom has cancer, my sister has cancer. Like, what do I say to them? How do I care for them? And I was like, the world is fucked. Like, we're just hurting and hiding. And that made me be like, okay, you know, I was never afraid of dying, even though I did have some people pass away in my journey because I did become close with some people. I wasn't afraid of that, though. I really was more concerned that I was going to be here and be sick, because that's also a possibility. Yeah. And that terrified me more than anything, because you watch the world pass you by while you have to, like, literally in your bathrobe for a week, don't leave a dark room, and the whole world has happened. And you're like, if I don't have the energy to do anything, why am I here?
Right.
So whenever I felt good, I was moving, which would make me exhausted. But that's what it was. And I started seeing people online. I'm like, I am a business coach now. I put up a website. They're like, I'm calling people. I'm like, you know, I've been watching you on Instagram and we really need to fix what's going on here. And they're like, don't you have cancer? And I was like, I really don't have time for cancer. What we do need is to fix your Instagram, girl. Right? And that's how it started. And I just called myself a business coach, did it messy, and I went. And I never would have done that before. Everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be aesthetically great. You know, now I deal a lot in aesthetics again. I mean, you know, I think I would have learned my lesson, but anywho. But it gave me back a sense of power in my own life. And I said, well, no matter what happens, I do have control of how I spend my day, like my healthy days. And from there, I moved, you know, someone else had identified for me, like, you know, you do personal branding, you really just need to own that space because everyone else knows you do that. but you. And I started examining what's personal branding. It's like, oh, I got it. It's about your associations and how you show up and how people, it's really reputation management. And I was like, this is my jam. This is my jam. And I love it. And I love it, love it, love it. And it was a real identity shift that helped me see, like, not only do I get to meet all of these amazing women with amazing talents and skill sets, but I get to see, like, I like to call it like the ooey gooey pieces of them, right? Where they're afraid to show how great they are. Yeah. And I have an ability to see you, no, I'm not going to say bigger than yourself, but bigger than you see yourself. And I would be able to reiterate that back to them in a way that would bring them to tears. And I'm like, this is your story. Like, I'm not making it up. I'm just telling it back to you in a way that has an emotional trigger because you emotionally trigger me. You need to see that your story matters. Yeah. And that was a big piece of what had me go into my business and the types of clients I would choose, you know, but then I went and I had a baby. And that shifted me again.
Sure.
But in a whole nother way that I wasn't prepared for. I really wasn't prepared for. And it didn't do what cancer did. You know, when I shaved my head when I had my stylist come to my house, shave my head when my family was there. I was like, don't look at me. And then it was done. I looked in the mirror and I felt so free. I was like, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Sure. I was like, fuck, yay. I felt empowered. But when I had the baby, that's not what happened. And I lost my hair then too. And all kinds of shit went down. And postpartum, I was like, no. Where's the power thing? You're a mom. You're a super mom. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can run a business and a baby and look at. I am done with people and the lies. It is hard as fuck. It rocked me. It shifted me. And for at least 2 years, I had no idea who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't feel like any joy. My baby was a miracle baby. He was a blessing. Every time I look at him, he's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And I still was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing out here in the world. What is it? So that was another identity shift. And what it did, though, was make it so I was like, well, I can't work the same amount of hours I did before. And maybe that's okay. I love to work. But what would now, like with AI, now what does it make available? How do I do... I mean, I'd love to say that I'm working less, but I feel like I'm actually doing more in just a shorter period of time.
Sure.
Right? Like, I'm like, I probably should be working less, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And that was another big shift. And without AI, I probably wouldn't even be in business, to be honest, because I can't move at the speed. I'm not at a place yet where I can hire a bunch of people to do things for me.
Sure.
You know, I did that for years. And every time I'd get to the end of the year, I'd ask my account, like, where's my money? Yeah. And he's like, go look at your contractor line item.
Yeah.
That's where your money is.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is everyone else getting paid but me?
Yeah. Entrepreneurship.
I was like, what do you want from me?
Yep.
God damn it.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit about me.
So, I mean, so powerful. And I really should have you just come back to talk about identity shifts, because that in of itself, you know, and I can relate. I'm in that messy middle right now. You know, my daughter's 16 months and
she's so cute.
She's the best. Yes, thank you. And, you know, it's real. Like everything you've done up until that point that's made you who you are. And then it totally gets rocked and challenged and also like in good ways. Like there's, you know, I shared with a mom who was on my podcast a few months back that I love working, I love building, I love creating, I love interacting with clients. And I was always of the mindset or the expectancy of myself that like, yeah, I'm going to take the time and then I'm going to be also like happy to like go back to work and be like this working mom. And that is still true. Like I still, that desire, I think like if you as a woman, regardless, we are designed to create, even if you don't have kids, like if you've not given birth, like it's in your DNA to create. That's like your superpower. Where I'm at right now is I'm like, if I did not have to like work for the next like 2 years, I'd have like serious FOMO. Like I'd be ping-ponging in my head every 72 hours, like real talk of being like, okay, I was like kind of just kidding about that whole thing. Like I need to create. And like with AI, it's like, holy shit, if I don't create something now, like I'm going to be like left behind. Nobody's going to know that I even exist in 2 years. You know, that would be like the real talk happening. And I still actually feel like that in some ways because I'm not executing or performing at a level that is normally me. And there's so much joy in my every single day. I look at her like at least 2,000 times a day, being like, I love you. I love you the most. You're so perfect. You're so cute. I'm like, I don't know how you just keep getting cuter. Every single second you just get cuter. And I don't want to miss that moment. You know, I'm like, and I do sometimes, like, I think like this morning I was thinking about, I'm like, if she was in daycare, like I would be missing this cute moment and I don't want to miss that. Like I have zero desire for that. And I'm like, I also need to like master Claude and build a thing so I don't get left behind, right? So like there's this like ping pong, but like there's a lot around like nobody can prepare you for the identity challenge that takes place and it's inevitable and you know it's going to happen, but you don't know how it's going to happen and where it's going to actually expose certain things that you didn't think you cared about. And like now that you do care about, or things you thought you were going to care about, you're like, yeah, that's not even a priority anymore. Like, see, I'll never you know?
No, girl, 100%. And even when I just think about like the patience for foolishness I don't have and certain people I don't have patience for. And I'm just like, I used to be the one who was like, I don't understand why she can't text back. She has kids, so she can't text me back. Like, I'm like the worst, right? Yeah. I was like, and my clients laugh at me now because they're like, we love this. We love you now as a mom. Because I used to be like, why are your kids on the Zoom? Like, give me a break. The kids can't entertain themselves. Oh my God. Yeah, my kid will literally lay across my computer if he sees a Zoom.
Yeah.
So it's like the level of empathy I have for mothers has shifted. How I see children in general has completely shifted. Like just seeing them discover everything every day newly rocks me to my core, right? And then the who I am has shifted. And I love, like, listen, there's so many different stages. When he was like really small, I could look at him endless. Now he is a mini me, spicy as hell, and he needs to go to daycare because me and him in the same space is too much all day, you know? But it's the most rewarding and the most challenging thing I've ever done.
Yeah. So in closing, I have one last question for you to bring us back. Like now you're this like powerhouse female, you're an incredible mom, you have a business, you've conquered cancer, you're in remission, you're married, you're still on the up, you're still building, doing all of the things. When you think of your journey and everything that you've been through, everything you've learned, everything that's yet to be discovered, if you could go back to your 20-year-old self, what would you tell her or what would you do differently?
Oh my God, don't even. That would make me cry. I would tell her the same thing I tell myself now, which is, you are tough as fuck. You've been through hard things. You will be through hard things again, but bet on yourself. You'll never lose.
I love it. And never give up, because as long as you don't quit, you'll win.
There is no give up.
Yeah.
You know, like the people who like, this is what they do. Like entrepreneurship, I always say, is like, it takes a very specific type of mental toughness, but also just like a want for that type of life. Like you couldn't quit if you tried. Yeah. No matter how many 9-to-5s you go back to, like if that's who you are, that's who you are.
I love it. Well, if you're not following Monique on Instagram, make sure you do that. Everything is in the show notes. Link it up. Give her a follow. And if you need some sprint work done, let me tell you, she is your girl. I was so impressed, and I am hard to please in business. Like I have very high expectations, and she crushed them. So give her a follow, drop in the DMs, and next time you got to come back again. We got to continue the conversation. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
If today's episode resonated with you and you are feeling something stirring deep within, I want to extend this invitation for you. This is for women that pray. A room where women are covered in prayer in every area of their life, including their business, where we connect, we celebrate each other's wins, we collaborate, and gain territory for the kingdom through the work that we're already doing. We start in September. The waitlist is open. Click the link in the show notes or DM me the word covered on Instagram, and I will get you in the room.
If something in today's episode resonated with you or sparked a shift, tag me on IG or send me a DM. I genuinely love hearing what lands for you. And if it spoke to you, share it or leave a quick review. It helps more women find this show and step into their own Wellthy era. Until next time, lead with purpose, live with intention, and stay wealthy.